Please welcome back to the stage, Joseph Durko.
So welcome back from lunch. I hope you're all full and energized for our last breakout session of the day. So introducing UIKit, new design tools for SnapOS. Please help me welcome Neil Cline.
Hi, I'm Neil, and I'm an AR engineer on the Spectacles team. And that means I use Lens Studio all day, every day. And I want to ask you a question about lens development. Have you had a great idea for a lens, like a game, or a tool, or a utility, and you start building it and you realize, like, oh, I need a start menu, or oh, I need a settings panel, or I think I need a toolbar down here. And so you take all of that momentum from your great idea, and you focus it down, and you make a button? I have. Making menus is definitely like an infamous downer, and we want to help with that. That's why we made UIKit. UIKit is a library of components and tools made for building user interfaces for spectacles. It's designed to be quick and easy to use, and it comes with a fresh and cohesive design system from SnapOS 2.0. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Neil, what about Spectacles Interaction Kit? Is this different? What's the deal? It's a good question. Thank you for asking. UIKit and SIK work together. SIK is the source for input data on our platform. It provides hand data, mobile controller data, hand visualizations, cursors, and more. UIKit, on the other hand, provides the visual and interactive in-lens elements for building user interfaces. And under the hood, those elements are powered by SIK. So UIKit depends on SIK. If you download UIKit, but you don't have SIK in your project, SIK will automatically get downloaded into your project assets. And the especially studious among us might be like, Neil, SIK already has UI building elements in it. And yes, that is true, but we will be deprecating them or moving them into UIKit itself. OK, so what's actually in UIKit? OK, we got buttons, we've got toggles, we've got sliders, we've got switches, we've got text inputs, we've got scroll windows, we've got scroll bars, we've got tooltips, we've got backplates, and we got frames. Each element has a bespoke design from the SnapOS 2.0 design system. And base components like buttons come with multiple styles. So what is this SnapOS 2.0 design system I keep talking about? It is the design system for Spectacles OS and UIKit, and it's guided by 3 core principles. Tangible and expressive. We provide clear feedback and affordances. Simple. Our designs are clean and easy to understand. And consistent. There is a cohesive look and feel across the entire platform. And these are all super important for spectacles because they're new to most people. Most people have not used them. And so they need to be accessible and intuitive for all kinds of users. Our design system helps do that by making our UI legible, because AR should enhance reality and not obstruct it. One place you can see this in action is on the frame component. It has custom cursors around its edges to clearly show you that you can grab and move an object. So how do all of these components work? Every UIKit element is designed to work out of the box. They're super easy to use for beginners, but they're also fully extensible for advanced users. Each element comes with idle, hover, and active states, each with distinct visual feedback. And every element is designed to be accessible through all of our input modes, including pinch, poke, and mobile. So if you want to attach a behavior to one of the elements, say on like trigger down or value change, you can do that directly on the component in Lens Studio, or you can do that through TypeScript. This streamlines UI development to let you focus on functionality and content instead of getting bogged down in menu building logic. Every element in UIKit is built to be modular. You can swap in custom visuals and attach it to the logic of a given element. And you can find examples of that in the package already. You can take any component and use it as a base to extend into your own component. So say you have a design for a menu in mind, You could build a custom button out of one of the buttons we provide and put custom inputs and controls on it specific to your design. This way you can completely customize UIKit to your purposes while still capitalizing on everything it offers. We're actively developing UIKit, so as we release updates and fixes and additions, you can download them straight into your project through the asset library in Lens Studio. Okay, now it's time for a demo. I'm gonna make a color picker, and I'm gonna go computer mode. So here we go. All right. So I'm starting from just a scratch. This is maybe foolhardy. I'm starting from a scratch project here in Lens Studio. This is, you open a new project, this is what you get. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna go a little speed run. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the asset library, and I'm gonna search UIKit. All I'm gonna do is click install. While that's installing, I'm gonna describe what we're gonna make. We're gonna make like a panel. It's gonna have like a spot up here for a color. We're gonna have a couple buttons for controls, and then we're gonna have sliders so we can dial in the color. Okay, so things are finishing downloading over here. You can see it did download Spectacles Interaction Kit, and I'm gonna get going here. First, I'm going to add device tracking to the camera and set it to world. Okay, then I'm gonna go into SIK and grab the SIK prefab. Great. So now I'm ready to start, basically. So I'm gonna make a new object here. I'm gonna call it frame. I'm gonna add the UIKit frame here. It's this one. I'm gonna pop it back, and I'm gonna make it show all the time. I'm also gonna change its size. Okay, cool. So this is like the frame. You can grab it and move it. We were talking about that earlier. You can also resize it. It does a bunch of stuff for you. Cool. All right, so that's gonna be our base element. I'm gonna start adding stuff in there. So I'm gonna add another scene object. I'm gonna call that UI, and I'm gonna add a canvas to that to help with sorting. We don't have to talk about that, don't worry. Okay, now I'm gonna start adding some more UIKit elements. I'm gonna add a slider, and that's this one. I'm gonna pop it forward so it's in front of my frame. You can see I can grab it and move it here. Cool. I'm gonna resize it to fit into this new layout we have here, make it a little bit taller. You can see all of that is responsive. We keep these nice round corners, and everything continues to work. Great. Now I'm going to move this down, so it's kind of nice there. Okay, cool. I'm gonna name this slider 1, and I'm going to duplicate them, 2 and 3. I'm gonna move slider 1 back up. I don't know, maybe I should do 2 first. Maybe I guessed right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so we have 3 sliders. Very exciting. They don't do anything at all. Great. Now I'm gonna add a toggle group. And under that toggle group, I'm gonna add 2 buttons. I'm gonna move this up because I want the buttons above my sliders. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing that for organization purposes. Now I'm gonna add a rectangle button. Again, here's one of our UIKit elements. Move it up, you can see it there. I'm gonna pop it forward so you can see it even more. I'm gonna resize it as well. Okay, I'm gonna move it up more. I'm gonna try to like roughly position this. I'm gonna turn it to a toggle. That means when I click it, it stays on. Okay, great. And I put this the wrong place. So I'm gonna copy it and delete it. I'm gonna make a child, and I'm gonna paste that there. Cool, there's my rectangle button. I'm gonna call this one RGB. I'm gonna duplicate it and call its other one HSV, because these are gonna be our 2 like color picking modes. I'm gonna take HSV and move it to the other side. So we're gonna do 4 on this one, -4 on the other one, maybe -4 on this one, I mean. Let's see if this looks okay. Yeah, that looks okay. All right, I'm gonna just add some labels here. This is just gonna be some text. And this one is RGB. Make it bigger. Cool. And I'm gonna copy that and put it down here. And have HSV, great. Now I'm going to use the toggle group I was talking about before that I never added. New element toggle group. And then this spot here to add toggles. So I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna add both RGB and HSV. Now you can see RGB is turned on. If I click HSV, RGB turns off. So we're like selecting between these two, and this toggle group handles that logic. Okay, cool. So I'm going to add like one more piece here. I'm going to add the color, and I'm also going to move that up here. And I'm going to add a render mesh visual, because this is where we're going to show the color that we're actually picking. I'm going to grab a plane, the unit plane that comes in UIKit, and I'm going to create a new material. We're going to do this from scratch as well, empty. Creating a new empty material. Cool. Make sure it's selected. Great. I'm going to call this material color picker. And I'm also going to rename its shader. And then we're going to do some shader editing. Very quick, simple shader editing. Going to add a float parameter. And all we're going to do is set that to a vec4, RGBA, call it color, also on the scripting. I'm just going to plug it into the color. OK, cool. Let's clear this. I'm getting red text, and it's scaring me. And now I'm going to move up the little color palette thing and scale it up. OK, so this is where we're going to show the color we're currently dialing in. I might make it a little bit bigger. OK, and then I might move everything down a little bit just so it looks prettier. Thank you. Great. So now we got like an interface here, but it still doesn't do anything. Cool. Let's make it do stuff. So now we're going to do some TypeScript. I'm going to add a TypeScript component here on my UI element. And I'm also going to move it up just because I like it like that. I'm going to call this one color picker. All right, now we're going to do some editing. Let's see if my editor is happy about opening this file. It is. OK, here we go. So let's name it color picker. And let's add some inputs. We're going to take all of those sliders and toggles and add them as inputs, and also the material. So here we go. Slider 1. It's a slider from UIKit. I'm going to copy this down. I am speedrunning, so I hope somebody has a stopwatch. And then I have a toggle group. Great. And then finally, I'm going to take the material. So I'm going to take all of that stuff we just added in the editor and kind of wire it up here on our scripting side. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make an extra event, because I want all of these things to be initialized. So I'm going to wait until onStart, so they like exist when I try to talk to them. I'm going to call this create event onStart event. And then I'm going to bind that new onStart event that I just created, this.onStart. Handle that. OK, and now I'm just going to make sure we're here. Cool. All right. So now I'm going to switch back to Lens Studio. It's going to throw a bunch of errors because we haven't wired everything up yet. So I'm going to take my sliders. Slider 1 goes to slider 1. Slider 2 goes to slider 2. Slider 3 goes to slider 3. Toggle group goes to toggle group. And my color picker material goes to color picker. We should stop getting errors. I'll refresh. And it says cool, which I'm very happy about. OK, so here we are. So this is where we lined all of this up. And now we can start doing stuff. So let's hook up the first slider. And hook it up, let's just add an event to it. So let's say on value change, and then add. And then this returns a value. So I'm just going to go ahead and print that now. Proof of concept, so we're all on the same page here. So we're refreshing, letting TypeScript compile, great. Then I drag this, and you can see those numbers printing out in the console here. It is hooked up. Cool. Let's do this for slider 2 and 3. Yep. OK, great. Now let's do it also for the toggle group. This one is a different event. This is on toggle selected. And this returns a bunch of arguments. So I'm just going to call that args. And I want to print, let's see, args.toggleable.sceneObject.name. OK, so then these names, RGB and HSV, will print here. If I click on them, you can see HSV. Here you can see RGB. Cool. All right, so now everything has little spots where I can start doing stuff. So I'm going to start doing stuff. I'm going to create a new variable just a private one to this function called color. It's going to be a vec4, and it's going to start as black, 0001. Cool. And then when I change slider 1, I'm going to say color.x equals value. Comment this out. And I'm going to do that for each slider, except for slider 2 will be color.y. And slider 3 will be color.z. Now I'm going to make a new function where basically everything is going to happen. It's going to be called update color. And in update color, I'm going to take that material that I attached, get its shader pass, and get that color parameter that we added in the shader graph earlier. I'm going to set that equal to that color that we're updating in these functions. Now, every time I set that color, I'm just going to update the color function here, cool, and again, and again, and I'll put it in here because we'll want it. And then I'm also going to put it here just for good measure. OK, so right now we only have RGB set up. But if I come back, you can see this color is black, which is right. And then we'll change this and we'll add red, cool. We'll add green, cool. And then we can add some blue. So great. But if I switch to HSV, nothing different. We're just doing RGB still. So let's do that part next. So here, I'm going to do a little trick. I'm going to take that name, and we're going to check. Actually, hold on. I'm going to add another variable here called useHSV, which will be a Boolean, and it will start as false because we're starting with RGB. Great. And then we will set that equal to if the name of the object we just clicked on is HSV. So this.useHSV equals this string here equal to HSV. Great. And now let's add a little branch in our update color. So if we are using HSV, then we're going to do HSV stuff here. Otherwise, we're going to do this RGB color. Cool. OK, so in this HSV branch, I'm going to add like a new color. We're just going to call it color. And I'm going to quickly clone our local color because HSV is in a different space, and it's just easier to keep track if I do this for this demo. Great. OK, so now I'm going to one more trick for HSV is that hue is from 0 to 360, where our RGB is from 0 to 1. So I'm going to switch this to color.x times equals 360. And then I'm going to take this same thing here and set it equal to our color, except for I'm going to use the HSV to RGB function that I have in UIKit. Great. OK, all looks good. Now we're back. Let's test it out. So RGB, still working, looking cool. And then if I switch to HSV, it switches to this purple. That makes dark purple because this is now our value, which is very low. I can turn it up, it gets brighter. This is saturation, I can turn it down, it gets whiter or more saturated. And then this is our 360 hue control. OK, cool. So we've made like a color picker. You can imagine if you were making like a painting app or something, and you wanted to select the color of your brush, or maybe you want to select the color of some text you're working with, you could build an interface like this and use it to control colors in your lens. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you. I think we can leave off the demo here. If you have any questions, please look up the UIKit documentation on the website. And if you want more detailed discussion, come post on the Spectacles subreddit. And remember, simplify your lens development, create cohesive designs, and get ongoing updates, all from UIKit. Download UIKit in the asset library today. Build with Snap, build with Spectacles. Thank you so much.